You know, streaming services have always had their ups and downs. On the one hand, they're a good alternative to TV and other video sharing platforms like YouTube. On the other hand, they cost a lot and you'll more likely be searching for what to watch. On the one hand, they have some really good or underrated shows. On the other hand, they'll most likely and unfairly cancel it, and will let certain shows go on a little longer than they should have. On the one hand, they're very welcoming and will let any show or movie come in. On the other hand, they'll let any show or movie come in.
Jesus!
So it's safe to say that people's relationship between streaming services have been strenuous at best. Which brings us to Loor. Loor is a new and upcoming streaming service that is causing a commotion for reasons we'll get into later. From what was being told, it's a crowdfunding platform that helped films and TVs get off the ground. And honestly, with that description, it actually sounds pretty good. A service that helps fund projects sounds like a really promising idea. Hell, even the trailers were promising. Although anything that was gonna throw shade at Netflix or Pureflix would have been pretty good in my book. That is, until you start going in just a little deeper. You see, one of the things to point out in Loor is that it's actually a Christian streaming service. Now let me make it clear that I have nothing against Christians. I have looked at people who were or still are Christians. My problem more likely arises with the other type of Christians. And with Loor, it's worth pointing out that they're kind of homophobic. On their website, they point out how they enable filmmakers to build whatever they want without the restrictive woke agenda. Even more evidently, they reposted a TikTok of someone talking about how their 2-year-old is being indoctrinated by Disney. So it's very clear that they're not going to allow LGBT material. Which, if you think about it, is kind of stupid. You can't just say you're gonna let people on your site do whatever they want and then put a barrier behind it. That's like an AI engine saying you can do whatever you like, but then stops you when you try to make not safe for work or unhealthy eating stuff. Wait a minute. But hey, there's still something you can salvage out of this. Hell, you basically stated that you're against creepy Hollywood executives. So I'm sure whoever you will get on this site will be perfectly fine in... shit. So, for context, the person you just saw there was Chris Savino, an animator slash writer slash artist whose most well-known work is The Loud House. As of now, he's not really working on The Loud House because of the sexual harassment allegations. Now, you may be asking, why would Loor allow such a person like this on their site? Well, the answer is quite simple. You see, Chris is now a born-again Christian, which is just a more artsy way of saying that you converted to Christianity. And because of that, he should be completely forgiven for what he has done.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Needless to say, people were not gonna buy that excuse. Now, technically, this is not the first time something like this has happened. Butch Hartman had attempted to create his own streaming service, and had also made a short-lived Christian cartoon show. But I think the only difference here is that while Butch has done a lot of bad things,
a lot. I mean, a lot. Huge amounts of lots.
at the very least, you could just chalk it up to the dude just being egotistical. Chris, on the other hand, uses power to blackmail and harass people. And it probably doesn't help how tone-deaf Loor has been to this situation. Seriously, they are so tone-deaf that they tried to start a conversation about politics at a party and ended up making everyone so uncomfortable they left early. They are so tone-deaf that they wore a Make America Great Again hat to a Black Lives Matter rally and wonder why people were giving them strange looks. They are so tone-deaf they tried to impress a group of vegans by boasting about the delicious steak they had for dinner last night. So yeah, I'm not really looking forward to Loor. As of now, the site's in its beta, but with everything that has happened on Twitter, it doesn't really inspire anything good. Which is a shame because there are some potential for good shows. Like Barely Accurate, a show that reenacts the Bible like it is with teddy bears. And let's face it, good Christian content isn't really high in certain places. And with the added notion of helping to fund other shows, it seemed like it had actual potential to be great. But hey, even if the site fails miserably, which it probably will, we'll still always have Tubi.
But the Bible says...
Yeah, the Bible says a lot of things, and not very clearly.